calendar. This is important for all of you in your debates about Ashura and it being related to Musa. Please understand. They say, in the hadith, they say that the Jews were fasting. And therefore Rasulullah said, I have to now fast. Because they say that the Jews have a fast on the 10th of Tishri. Tishri is a Jewish month. And therefore they said that the 10th of Tishri is when the Jews were saved. And because the 10th of Tishri fell on the 10th of Muharram, they said, Rasulullah said, in the same way they are fasting, we will now fast as well. Do you know why the mathematics doesn't work, brothers and sisters? Shall I tell you why? Because the only time the 10th of Tishri in the Jewish calendar corresponded with the 10th of Muharram in the Islamic calendar was in the 28th year after Hijrah. This hadith is meant to have been about an incident in which year of Hijrah? The first year of Hijrah. But the only time the two calendars bring the 10th of Tishri to the 10th of Muharram is 28th year of Hijrah, number one. Number two, the 10th of Tishri does not speak about Musa being saved with the children of Israel. The 10th of Tishri is Yom Kippur. Do you know what Yom Kippur is? How many of you, there are many of you in this crowd who have people who celebrate Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is not when Musa got saved with the children of Israel. Yom Kippur is known as Yom al-Kaffara. Yom Kippur. Yom al-Kaffara. You know Kaffara? We have to pay a penalty, Kaffara. Why? Because Nabi Musa went up to Mount Sinai. When he came back down, the children of Israel were worshipping the calf. Al-Ajl. They were all worshipping the calf. Because of this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was angry with the children of Israel. They therefore had to pay atonement. Yom Kippur in the English language is the Day of Atonement. In the Arabic language, it's called Yom al-Kaffara. The hadith we are talking about says what? Says that this is the day of the fast of which one? Of when the children of Israel were saved from drowning. Whereas the 10th of Tishri is not when they were saved from drowning. The 10th of Tishri corresponds to what? Corresponds to when they started worshipping the calf. That's why the children of Israel, they were saved from drowning in the 15th of Nisan in the Jewish calendar. And the 15th of Nisan in the first year of Hijrah was the 23rd of Ramadan. So if there should be a fast which is mustahab for us, it should have nothing to do with the 10th of Muharram. It should be related to when? 23rd of Ramadan. So where did the big mistake come, brothers and sisters? The big mistake came because of the way that hadith writer, and it's unbelievable how many people were paid to write. And you plan, and Allah plans. Allah is the best of planners. However many fake hadiths you want to write, Allah will expose all of them. Do you know why? Do you know how this person wrote the hadith? On which basis? He wrote it on the idea that he thought the Islamic calendar begins with Muharram, and therefore Rasulullah entered Medina in Muharram. Rasulullah, when he entered Medina, when did he enter? In Muharram? When did he enter? Rabi' al-Awwal. If you've now gone into Medina as Rasulullah, and you apparently saw the Jews fasting, if you entered in Muharram, you may have some plausibility to your argument. But Rasulullah didn't enter Medina in Muharram. How did this mistake come? It came from a person who didn't understand how the Islamic calendar works. Who didn't understand how the Arabic calendar works. Do you know why? Because we know the Islamic calendar begins with which month? It begins with Muharram. But does that mean that Rasulullah entered Hijrah, he entered Medina in Muharram? No. Rasulullah entered Medina in Rabi' al-Awwal. But the calendar began from Muharram because of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Why? In the time of Ammar ibn al-Khattab, people were asking, when should we start the Islamic calendar? Some people said, let's start from Am al-Fil. Others said, let's start from the Mi'raj. Others said, let's start from the birth of Rasulullah. Ali ibn Abi Talib said, the Islamic calendar will start like how the Qamari calendar, the lunar calendar begins. It will begin from the year of Hijrah, but the month of Muharram. Do you understand how it works? The Islamic calendar began the year Rasulullah entered Medina. but beginning from Muharram. Now, when Rasulullah entered Medina, the hadith in Bukhari says, he saw the Jews fasting, and he said, we have a greater right over Musa than the Jews do, therefore we should fast. Ya Rasulullah, but you entered Medina in Rabi' al-Awwal, not in Muharram. So therefore, how were they fasting? Unless someone got the mathematics wrong when they were narrating the hadith. Because Rasulullah entered in Rabi' al-Awwal. If we were to say 10 days after he entered, that's when he saw the Jews fasting, it doesn't make any difference. It means the fast should be when? The fast should be at the time of Rabi' al-Awwal, if such a fast even exists. And that's why even when you go to point number 5, it's ironic that some people have come forward and said what? They say that this is such an important sunnah that we should all fast on Ashura. You know what the irony of this is? There are so many other sunnahs which we neglect. No sunnah in the world today has so much money backing it up like the fast of Ashura. Go travel anywhere in the world on Ashura and see how many people will give lectures about fasting on this day. See how many leaflets. When you publish one leaflet, it's money. Imagine you publish millions about the importance of fasting on Ashura. And it's ironic, the fast, 27th Rajab. 27th Rajab, Abu Hurairah narrates the hadith. He says, Rasulullah said everyone should fast on the 27th Rajab. In your lifetime, have you ever seen leaflets published in their millions for 27th Rajab? In your life. Have you ever been anywhere where so many leaflets are published because of the 27th of Rajab? I've never seen such a thing. But the 10th of Muharram, the leaflets and the photocopy machines all start working. Musa was saved. Musa was saved. Why such an attention? Then you move on to look at which idea. If you are so concerned about the sunnah of Rasulullah, then why didn't you speak out when other sunnahs of Rasulullah were changed? This sunnah, everyone makes great. But there were so many other sunnahs of Rasulullah, many neglected. Wasn't it a sunnah of Rasulullah that Hayya ala khair al-amal was part of the adhan of Rasulullah? Everybody knows Hayya ala khair al-amal was part of the adhan. Therefore it was part of the sunnah of Rasulullah. When the second Khalifa comes in, he changes this. Why? Because he wanted jihad to be known as khair al-amal, not salah. So he removed Hayya ala khair al-amal from the adhan. That's why many of you have been to Hajj or Umrah. When you listen to the adhan, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala al-falah, Allahu Akbar. You don't hear Hayya ala khair al-amal. If my concern about the sunnah of fasting on Ashura is so great, why am I not concerned when Hayya ala khair al-amal is removed? Is this the sunnah of Rasulullah or the sunnah of others other than Rasulullah? For example, Salat al-Taraweeh. If I am so concerned about the sunnah of Rasulullah, then why is it that I come and perform a salah which was not there in the time of Rasulullah? Everybody knows that only the salah which is wajib is one which is performed in jama'ah. Whereas Taraweeh is not seen as being wajib. It was changed in the time of the second Khalifa. He himself admits by saying it's a good bid'ah. Now if it's a good bid'ah and you have such a concern for the sunnah of Rasulullah, then why don't you publish leaflets to protect this sunnah? Why is it that the sunnah of fasting on Ashura received the most money? Why? Because there is an agenda behind it. The agenda is to divert attention away from what happened to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Likewise, you find on the 8th